Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426 and today we have the review of the 5-2 Toys Megabox Tukuru. I am really excited to get this because originally I really wanted to get this, but these were very limited edition stuff or limited run stuff, so unless you were very fast you would actually miss it. So I actually have a seller who sells Megabox and beastbox stuff, but he didn't have it. But apparently there was another seller who was taking pre-orders, but I noticed it too late, so I wasn't able to get them. So originally this is the black version, but before this there was a red version out there. So I believe the red version was also a very short limited run, and they released this one, which is also a short limited run, but a little bit more than the red one. So these are basically very limited stuff as far as I understood them. So yeah, I was very excited to get these. Alright, so let's get on to the review right away. So the way how I was able to get this is through eBay, believe it or not. I had to actually win an auction, and I was able to win this for a good price, or at least in my standards. So yeah. Alright, so before we go on to the box itself, the Megabox itself, let's look at the box package itself. So here we have Tukuru, made by 5-2 Toys, and apparently this was designed by a team or a different company called Marut Toys. Now, the reason why I'm a little bit confused is that, so basically a regular, if you look at the back here, usually on the back of a typical beast box would be that on the top section here we would have the company name, and then on the bottom would be the team with the engineering or design team within the company that designed this specific product. So each will have a different design team going on here. So so these are the teams, but this one actually has a term called Marut Toys. So that's actually, I'm not sure if that's their own team or this is supposed to be a collab thing. So I might need to look into this more deeply, but yeah, that's basically it. So this is the design team that made this specific or designed this specific Megabox. Other than that, these are all basic descriptions that you have to put in legally in certain countries, like how the age of it and other stuff as well. So this product itself is meant for 15 years old and up, so keep that in mind. So these are not exactly meant for kids, if you ask me. Alright, so let me get off the rotating stand and let's see what we got. So if you open the box, there's a few stuff. Now, one of the typical stuff is that you get the catalog and then you get the PVC card. I'm not even going to show those as well. The PVC card is something you fold it in half, put it inside the box charger, so when you open the box it will pop out. But for this guy, I don't think that's going to work because this guy is extremely heavy. I'll get into that later. And then we get the instruction manual. Now, before I go into the box itself, there is something I would like to mention and slightly apologize for. So you can see on the box, this is a transformed version, and you can see certain areas glowing in blue, but you don't see that here, right? The reason is that you need to have a UV light to actually show those glowing parts. Now, I'm not too sure how common it is to own a UV light, but I've never owned one in my life. So sorry about that, I won't be able to show this, but I will try to get one and then post a picture on either YouTube, Facebook, or whatever. So yeah, so that is one aspect I would like to apologize for not being able to show. Now let's get it out of the box here. So yeah, oh man, this guy's heavy. So this thing does come with a box charger. I would like to mention that as well, because there are in the past products there were certain stuff that would not come with the box charger. All right, so here we go. The first thing I did when I took this guy out of the box is that I was very surprised to notice how heavy this guy is, and a lot of parts, I think 80 to 90% of this is made out of diecast metal. Yes, you heard me, diecast metal. So this thing is extremely heavier than a typical beast box, which is usually made out of full-fledged plastic. So that's that. And so you can see in the light, you can see these engravings here, or some sort of markings here when you reflect the light. So these are the parts that are supposed to glow in blue if you do have UV lights. Another thing is that if you on the box you will have these parts that look like machine guns as separate parts, but in the transformation into the cube you can actually store these in according to the manual. So that is pretty cool, and you can see there are these wheels going on here. Now in cube form this doesn't really exactly roll, so just wanted to point that out. You don't want to scratch anything. Alright, so I'll be right back with the transformation, and yeah, we'll see what this guy can do. And just wanted to mention that the transformation process is pretty simple, so it shouldn't take too long for anybody. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the transformed version of Tukuru, and here we have his like equipment here. So this thing actually has a good amount of articulation, and then there are a few features that are not exactly mentioned in the manual, but I guess some of these could be kind of obvious to some degree, but some of them weren't exactly obvious. So hopefully I can show you guys most of the features going on here. All right, so let's just get rid of the typical equipment stuff here. So first of all, obviously we have these claws in the front. You can open them up all the way if you want to do so. You can open. So yeah, you can open him all the way, and then you can give him these equipment. So these handles are supposed to be like a perfect fit, and there we go. We have one of the equipments attached, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. Of course, it's really up to your imagination. These could be repair tools, or these could be like machine guns, or maybe fists. So it's really up to your imagination, because at first I was tempted to call this a crab mech, but at the same time there is already a crab in the beastbox lines, which is there's Cannibal and Iron Claw and whatever. So yeah, but of course, based on the promo pictures I've seen so far, I believe this guy is supposed to be like a repair bot. So yeah, pretty neat feature. Alright, so let's talk about the articulations from top to bottom to make it more easy. So on the top section doesn't really bend or move, obviously, because it's all one piece. Or basically there's no arc joint here, but we do have the eyes that can go all the way down, and then that can go all the way up or all the way back. So, but that's more for the transformation here. And on the middle here we have another part that rotates 360. So if you don't like that blue part, you can always hide that, or if you want that blue part, you can always rotate it back in. And I do like the overall aesthetics where they use these clear blue plastics in certain places. That's a pretty nice touch if you ask me. All right, so that's that. Now let's look at let's go with the legs first. So the legs, let's talk about the articulation here. So this is going to be a little bit tricky to show, but yeah. So obviously there's 4 legs going on here. So you can go forward and backward like that. So the back one is more limited than the front, because obviously the front and then the joints don't go as much forward compared to the front one. So you do have a range of going forward and backward for each leg. This one can go almost all the way to the front. So yeah, and each side pretty much has the same articulation there. So range of movement for what it is, I think that's a pretty good deal going on here. And then on the bottom of these panels is that there's these wheels. So if you align them perfectly, or as long as they're facing the same direction and on the same height, this thing can actually roll. So pretty cool, fun feature if you ask me. Alright, and then for these individual panels, the front one can actually open outwards like that. You can see it opens outwards like that, a little bit squeaky there, but still. And then the back ones can also open outwards, but on a different direction here. So yeah, pretty cool concept, and because these are also on pegs, so they can rotate. Now technically you could pull these out, but once again, it's not as easy as I thought. I had one fall off on me, but after putting it back in, it's not coming out that easily. So I'm not sure if that's supposed to happen or not, but still, yeah, pretty neat feature if you ask me. And then each leg, there's 1, 2, 3 joints that allows you to move upwards and downwards. So upwards, that can go pretty well up. The back one can also pretty much the same range, I think, of movement, and then can go down as well. And then there's the second joint that allows to go up and down as well. There's another hinge joint there, and then a hinge joint here. I think the last hinge joint here is more like a ratchet joint. It's not as a powerful ratchet, but you can definitely feel the ratchet on the inside. So that's that. Yeah, I think that's it for the legs. But once again, if you look at the inside body, some people may not like this. It may feel a little bit too empty on that. So of course, what you can do is you can pretty much make this guy look more compact like this. You can maybe fold the legs inwards or something like that, or maybe put in a figure. But if you don't like that, you can actually, hopefully I can work this out, you can actually change the height of the entire leg section here and make it look more, filled in. So it's really up to you. But the odd thing is that that part is not mentioned in the manual. I don't know why they didn't, but maybe it's supposed to be an obvious thing, but who knows. But just wanted to mention that, yeah, you can change the height on the inside there. Of course, the more you move up, then obviously the legs will go up and the main body will feel more drooped down, if you ask me. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the legs. Now for the front arms going on here. So originally they'll be like this all the way in, but you can slightly pull them outwards like this, and then you do have a little bit more control, like at like a ball, you can utilize the ball joint on the inside more properly. But once again, it will feel slightly more loose than the one that's all the way in. So once you have it all the way out, you can go downwards, upwards, side to side a little bit as well. So just to make sure, I'm just gonna lock that into place one more time. Then you will have no, range of movement on side to side, but you can still go full up and down the same. And then you have another hinge joint that can bend the claw right over there. And then the claw can rotate I think it's supposed to go 360. Yeah, you can go 360, open up the claw as previously, and you can also pull it down like that if you want to fold it downwards, or if you just don't want to show the claws, you can do that as well. So a pretty good range of movement even on these small claws, if you ask me. And I think that's pretty much it. For the transformation, make sure like you pull the panels upwards so that the wheels can actually touch the ground. If you don't, the wheels will be kind of locked into place inside the panel. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for the review. So once again, I'm really loving this concept. It's something we don't see too often, and then it's supposed to be like a repair mech. It's a fun fun figure, if you ask me. Like, I do like the fact that this might be one of the few figures I own that has a lot of die-cast metal in it. So yeah, I'm actually proud to have this now. Once again, I believe there is the red one, and then I remember seeing a white variant, but that could be a prototype or a mock-up sample, because at 52 Toys, they do make a lot of prototypes, and then those prototypes tend to be in an entirely different color compared to their actual release version. So yeah, but if they actually do make another variant of this, I'm actually willing to try that out as well. Although, yeah, I'm not too crazy about this neon light thing going on here, so this UV light effect. So once again, if they actually do release a regular color version, I might try that out as well. Anyway, this was the review of the 52 Toys Megabox Tukuru. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews on, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.